This is the hotel in Guéckédou. It's more in the commercial sector of Guéckédou, about 15 minutes away from the site of operation. This is our data manager. We are deployed under Gorn, so we do all the logistics up to the capitals, so like Monrovia or Conakry. But from Conakry, then our teams are taken up by WHO, all the logistics, bringing the teams, bringing the reagents, then to the site of operation. This is responsibility of WHO. They are also in charge of course, for security and safety of the teams. And finally, of course, they coordinate all these efforts. So therefore, we don't go on bilateral basis. So we are always deployed under GORN, under the Global Outbreak Alert and Response Network of the WHO. So this is now the MSF campus in Guéckédou, the ETC, Ebola Treatment Center in Guéckédou. So before you can enter the center, you have to disinfect again with bleach, disinfect the hands, disinfect the shoes, and the same is actually when you leave the site. So you can't move around without. They don't let you out or don't let you in. So MSF is very strict on this. And this is actually a reason why MSF had so few cases, infections among their staff. So you see, this is here MSF staff. This is the recreation area of the campus. And this is the tent where our lab was set up right from the beginning. After a few months, then we moved from the tent into a more concrete building, because actually it becomes very, very hot at noon in this tent, and this is very difficult for the staff then to work with the protective equipment at, let's say, close to 40 degrees. Here in the back actually is the treatment center. So here are the patients, and this is separated by a fence. So. And this is, of course, very, very convenient for MSF to have the lab so close. So that means when they take a sample, so it can be processed immediately. So sample reception here again, boxes for storage of reagents, the orange boxes for the transport, and we use them also as chairs to sit down. It's exactly the same setup. So the 3 units which we have, the European unit, the Nigerian and the Tanzanian unit, they are identical with respect to the equipment. So again, the glove box for inactivation of the material. Here they exchange overnight, so they do a disinfection of the glove box in the inside, so they just exchange the bleach container and move in a new bleach container. Of course, everything is thoroughly disinfected from the outside before it leaves the glove box. The sample is inactivated inside the glove box, so a sample is transferred inside the glove box, is inactivated in the glove box, and then is transferred out of the glove box, and then of course the outside of everything which leaves the glove box is thoroughly decontaminated with bleach. So again, here the sample reception area, we use barcodes which are then attached to all the materials, tubes coming from the patient. You see this is something coming from the ward. To be safe that nothing is on the outside when it comes from the ward, we disinfect also the bags in bleach, so not to take any risk of exposure of our staff to the virus. So now there is a new bottle of bleach in the glove box, and now I think this was the work up before they start the daily business with the samples. This is a malaria test, actually is positive. Here you see this band is a Plasmodium falciparum. We not only test for Ebola in the lab, but also all samples are tested for malaria, because this is of course important that patients are treated for malaria, because often they might have malaria together with Ebola infection. So in the background you see the MSF staff, how they treat the patient. Of course we don't enter this area. Of course, after a while working in the glove box, of course, you're sweating a lot. Yeah, so here the lab has set up a small outstation a few meters away to process samples for immunofluorescence, for antibody detection, and what you see here is a immunofluorescence microscope. And this actually is then the final result which we get from the PCR machine. So as I said, the genome of the virus, so the genome is first, the virus is inactivated in the glove box, then the genome is extracted, and then the genome is amplified by the polymerase chain reaction. And if there was the virus in the patient sample, then at the end of this amplification we get a fluorescent signal, and this is what you see here. So these curves are actually fluorescent signals indicating that a lot of material has been amplified, means that in this sample the Ebola virus was present, while in these samples here nothing is amplified. So that means these samples are negative. So this is the book, and here finally we write down the results here positive. And here you see a case which is Ebola positive and also malaria positive. So this is an Excel spreadsheet which is then sent every day to the data manager of the WHO. And here you see a certificate of discharge. So that means before a patient is discharged, we test a patient usually 1 or 2 times to make sure the patient is negative in blood for Ebola virus before the patient is discharged, can go back to the community. And to prevent stigmatization of the patient in the community, we provide them with a certificate which is then signed here for the Ministry of Health of Guinea, Médecins Sans Frontières, and for the European Mobile Laboratory, so that this certificate can then be shown in the community. Say, okay, I survived the Ebola infection, but I'm really negative, so I can be reintegrated in the community. Because stigmatization is a major problem. Sometimes if they have to process 50, 80 samples per day, it takes really the whole day until the night, and the team arrives then 10, 11 o'clock in the night in the hotel, and then again has to start 8 o'clock in the morning. They work like 12 hours a day, seven days a week, so there is no weekend. The teams, we exchange the teams every 3 weeks, because it's really stressful, at least when you have so many samples to process. And the total duration in the field is then about 4 weeks, because first the teams have to go to the field to Conakry, from Conakry to Guéckédou or Monrovia to Foya. Then there is a small overlap between the teams to hand over the laboratory, and then it's 3 weeks of operation, and then the new team come. And you can imagine that we need about 3 to 4 staff members. In Guéckédou we need 3 staff members, because we have trained also a Guinean scientist, Joseph, who helps us a lot in the laboratory now. So we could reduce the European staff by 1. And that means, but still, that means we need 3 European lab experts for Guéckédou, 4 European lab experts for Foya every 3 weeks. And they have to be trained, so we recruit them for various European institutions, but nevertheless they have to be trained, and they go for 1 week, before they go to the field, they go for 1 week to the partner site in Munich, where they receive a training on the mobile lab, in particular the operation of the glove box and the personal protective equipment, and then the mixed teams go to the field. Often it is on the airport that the teams see the first time, so we have someone from Italy, from England, from Slovenia, and but it works perfectly, so the teams get together quite quickly in the field.